so they predicted by the time that I was 16, I wouldn't be able to walk, at least without some kind of assistance, be it a wheelchair, walker, cane, some kind of assistance.
Welcome back to The Perfect Workout. You are absolutely going to want to tune into today's story. Hannah McKinley, she's one of our trainers in the Dallas region of The Perfect Workout. She's got a really, really awesome story that we're sharing today about how she's overcome a serious neurological disorder and has strengthened her body in ways that she never really thought that she'd be able to. How she helped pioneer our virtual training program, and how she's helped her mom actually lose weight through that process before we even began virtual training. So, to hear more about her story and how she was able to do that, stick around for the full discussion.
I'm in the DFW region. Particularly, I manage the Park Cities, North Dallas location. Yeah.
You've been in multiple different locations. That hasn't always been like your home studio, right?
No, it hasn't. I actually started up in the Chicago region, and started in Wilmette, and then I was also in the Westmont location, but then towards the end of my time there, I actually became the facility manager in Wilmette. And then my husband got accepted to a seminary here in Dallas, and so we jumped over here to this pond and was working as a trainer in Flower Mound and Park Cities, and then got promoted to facility manager in Park Cities. So it's been a journey.
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk a little bit about your story or your history leading up to joining the Perfect Workout. What made you want to get into health and fitness and become a personal trainer?
Yeah, so really it stems from, we'll jump back in time to when I was 13. So when I was 13, I was diagnosed with a neurological disorder called Charcot-Marie Tooth syndrome. And what that does is it affects the nerves down my back. So they're enlarged, and that in turn affected how my muscles grew, and just kind of it caused muscle atrophy. And so they predicted by the time that I was 16, I wouldn't be able to walk, at least without some kind of assistance, be it a wheelchair, walker, cane, some kind of assistance. And so they said we could do a couple things. So they did double hamstring and calf surgery. And so they went in and they essentially lengthened the muscles in my legs. And then I had I had casts up to my hips. I was in casts up to my knees, and then boots, and then braces, the whole shebang. But really, after all that, he said, this has helped, slow it down for right now. But what's going to keep you out of a wheelchair is continual strength training and continual flexibility. And so I had a lot of personal trainers. I had a lot of physical therapists, people on my team to remind me of my goals. I don't want to graduate high school in a wheelchair. I didn't want to go, walk down the aisle for my wedding, or go down the aisle for my wedding in a wheelchair. And so I worked really hard. There was a lot of people cheering me on. And that's what really made the biggest difference. And so that's what I want to be for all of my clients. And that's what pushed me to make the plunge when I moved to Chicago to apply for the position with the Perfect Workout. So I wanted to be that for someone else, whatever their goal is. Yeah.
I love that. I love that so much. And you've got such a powerful story, and just having the ability to overcome hearing something like that at such a young age, the fact that you may be stuck in a wheelchair and having to go through life that way. I mean, what was going through your mind then?
Like you said, it's really not something that anyone wants to hear, but 13, it's already kind of an awkward age. And, at the time they said, well, there isn't really a whole lot of hope in terms of finding a cure for the disorder. And so in my mind, I had to go through a little bit of a transformation just mentally and just emotionally, trying to overcome that. But again, ultimately it just came down to, I have the power to make a difference. And really a lot of it came from the supports from my mom, from my family, all the people who were on my support team. And so the reality of me being able to walk and run, and I did triathlons in high school, is really a miracle. It is. And so, like you said, being diagnosed with something like that at 13 is not fun. But there was definitely a lot that I had to go and overcome at that age, for sure.
Yeah. I know that exercise in general is often prescribed to, I mean, a lot of people for a lot of different reasons from physicians and doctors. But I also know that in that experience, like our client Lori Gross from, I think it was Clear Lake, Texas, you know, she was told for her osteoporosis, like, go do strength training, but that is such a vague direction. So like when you were told to do strength training, did you feel like you had to go do research and find out what was going to be best for your body? Did you get direction there? Like, what was that, you know, figuring out what type of exercises to do would be best for your situation?
Yeah, there wasn't really a lot of direction. Just like you said, they said, you know, continue to stretch and continue to strength train, which there's not much that goes along with that, other than when you go to physical therapy and they just tell you do these exercises for this long and etc. I mean, I remember when after all of the surgeries and all the medical stuff, after that went away and I was in the recovery and building stage, I do remember going into a gym and it was kind of overwhelming, where I didn't know really what to do or what would be beneficial for me, other than the physical therapy exercises that I had on my little sheet of paper. And so I was able to talk with some of the personal trainers there, and they kind of were like, well, since it's your legs that are affected primarily, let's try these exercises and do these things. And so that kind of helped me build confidence, and also be able to do my own research to see what would be effective. And really, ultimately, now that I've done super slow motion strength training for the past 3 years, I have never felt stronger. I genuinely wish more people with my disorder knew about this method, because I was told no high impact. And so that kind of rules out a lot of stuff in terms of sports and, you know, recreational activities and whatnot. And then of course, no high impact, what does that mean? What else can I do? And so when super slow motion strength training, when I started to do that on my own with the perfect workout, I was like, this is what it is. This is my my savior, I guess, when it comes to like being stronger, because what I was doing before, it worked, but it wasn't efficient. It just kind of kept me where I was at. Now I'm actually stronger. Like, a lot of people with my disorder can't say that they're stronger than when they were before or when they were diagnosed. And so it allows me to get that strength in a safe way and an effective way, and I get all my time back. So it's really good.
So cool. Yeah. It's really cool. And you mentioned earlier that you had done triathlons after getting diagnosed and working through some of the challenges. What else have you been able to do as a result of becoming stronger and having, you know, this like savior, like you said?
Yeah, absolutely. So triathlons, that was kind of my rebellious, like, you're telling me I can't do high impact, I don't care. It was incredible to be able to do that. I hated the running portion. I just hate running in general. But really, it was just my act of defiance to the disorder and to the doctors who told me that I shouldn't or couldn't do that. As far as what else I've been able to do, so actually a couple weeks ago, my husband and I went on a 10-mile walk around the lake that's here in town. And we didn't really intend to. It was just kind of an accident where we're walking and talking and having a good time, and we were already halfway around. So we were like, let's just continue. And so for me, it's moments like that make me incredibly thankful for where I'm at right now. Because if I didn't have the strength that I have right now, I can't say that I would be able to do that. And so there's a lot that I've been able to do. I've lived in Brazil, and there are all kinds of fun roads in Brazil and sidewalks and challenges that come with that. So I definitely can say that I would not have been able to do these things in my life without the strength that I have. Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in the future if you know you didn't have this to kind of rely on?
If I did not have the strength that comes from super slow motion strength training, and just being consistent with strength training, I can say that if, you know, in probably the next 10-ish years, I would have probably had to have got some kind of assistance, be it a walker or a cane. I wouldn't say necessarily a wheelchair, because I probably would have been strength training of some kind. But it is a degenerative disorder, and there is not a cure for it. But by golly, I'm going to go down fighting, and I'm going to hold it off as long as I can. And super so much in strength training is my main weapon against it.
Yeah. Oh, I like that weapon. I like that a lot. So I happen to know that before we transitioned into virtual training, you know, when the whole country is shut down, you actually had kind of, I dare say, pioneered our program just a little bit, because you had been personally using it with some of your own clients. Do you want to tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So it all kind of started from when my parents came to visit. This was back in October of last year, 2019. Oh my gosh, feels like that was forever ago. I feel like everything is lots of happened.
Everything pre-2020 is like a whole nother life.
Exactly. But my parents had come to visit, and my mom particularly had started this journey of wanting to improve her health. She's got multiple sclerosis, and it's always been a little bit of a struggle for her to maintain her fitness or just kind of get into that realm. And so when she came to visit, and they had known that I'd been with the Perfect Workout for a while, and they kind of knew what it was. But I was like, hey Mom, I'd love to put you through a workout while you're here. And so I did. And she said, well, I love it. Can I do it? We're in North Carolina. We don't have a region yet in North Carolina. But maybe I could train you virtually. And so we set up twice a week, where I would train her on Wednesday and Saturday. And there was a lot of trial and error on what that looked like, what exercises could be done, et cetera. And so what happened was I got her a little kit of things, resistance bands. She had some weights and a little yoga ball that we have in the studio. And so we used those for her workouts. And it's been really cool, because since we started in October of 2019, she's lost 15 pounds. She has improved her strength drastically, not only just from her progress chart in that her bands and resistance have increased, but just in her everyday life. She was in the yard actually the other day. And before all this, being in the yard was it just took a tremendous toll on her body. One, from the heat, to just from being weak and just not having the muscles or the endurance to be in the yard. And she said that she was totally fine. You know, she's like, I feel like I can enjoy being out in the yard and doing what I want to do. She's got definition. She said that she was in the shower, she was shaving, and she was like, I have muscle definition from the top of my thigh to the bottom of my thigh. She said she's never seen that before. And it was just incredible to her that she could see the definition and just more than feel it. Cause you can feel the change, but it's another thing to like see it in the mirror and see it on your legs. And that's just something that that she's never experienced before. And then she feels strong and independent enough to go up and down the stairs multiple times a day. She's really into quilting, and so she's got a really long arm. It's called a long arm machine up on the third floor of their house. And she will go up and down those flights of stairs all day, and she is completely fine. She is strong. She's capable. She's my role model. She's worked hard to be where she's at right now. And she's had a lot of challenges. And it's just been cool to be a part of that process.
Absolutely. That's really cool. So are you continuing to train her?
Oh yeah. I actually have to train her today at 4.
Yay. That's so cool. Yeah. Way to get creative too, knowing that we didn't have a facility anywhere near her, and it's not like you could be there with her anyway. Mm-hmm. I really do think that creativity that you guys came up with to work together had a massive impact on what we've done as an entire organization and helping train our clients all over the country. It's really cool.
It's been awesome to be a part of that process and just kind of see this little seed grow into something so big. And just, it's been cool to see all the minds. We've got a lot of big, awesome brains in our company. And it's just been cool to see like just the heavy lifting that took place after all the regions shut down. I mean, it was just like, bam, the next day it was just like, we have something, we're building it and we're creating it. And it's just continuing to be perfected. It's been really cool to see.
Yeah. I've talked with a lot of clients and kind of got their perspective on what virtual training has been like, on their side of the screen. How has that been for you as one of our trainers, going from in the studio to doing it through, a Zoom platform? What's that been like?
It's actually been it was really fun to make that transition. It was, of course, a little stressful, and there were things to overcome. Just like any change that happens in life, there are things to overcome. But really, it was incredibly fun. And I say was because I'm no longer doing the virtual training, because our studios, yay, have opened up in Dallas. But it was incredible. We could be creative with what they had. I trained one client and used her dog as weights to add some extra resistance. There were quite a few clients who we just used body weight, and it was a killer workout. And so it was fun to be able to kind of see our clients in their relaxed environments in their home, and I got to know the name of all their animals. So it was like, oh, hey Spencer, can you move out of the camera, please? But it was fun. It was creative, and then with every other trainer being on board with it, we got to kind of pick each other's brains and perfect the product for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I've had the luxury of seeing some of your coaching sessions, your virtual training sessions, like with John and Lynn, and they're awesome. I mean, everyone says they're such a good workout still. They don't feel like they had missed anything. So it was a really cool option to have in that interim before you guys were able to open back up. And so how's that been? It's been what, like a week or two since you guys have opened back up your studios?
Yeah, it's been a little bit over 2 weeks since we opened. Okay. And it's been good. It definitely looks a lot different just in terms of the procedures that we have. So there's a lot of cleaning, of course. We want to make sure that our clients are safe. We want to make sure our trainers are safe. And so there's a little bit of difference in terms of those procedures. But I think what really has been cool to see is all of the clients who were doing virtual training have literally picked up right where they left off. I haven't had to bring weights down except for maybe 1 or 2 machines, and not even for every single client. And so it's been cool because there are clients who they came in and literally the next session I had to raise their weight because they went longer on those machines. So it was literally like they never left.
I have been dying to know what that was going to be like, because everyone that I've talked to has felt pretty confident that they'd be able to do that, but to actually get that feedback is really, really cool and super significant. It just shows that, like that was the right choice for those who did it, because they didn't skip a beat. They didn't lose any progress.
Yeah, it's been really fun to see just the progress that people have made, and the clients who are just like, I'm ready to just jump right back in. And then as soon as we call them, these clients are like, oh, great. I'm gonna hop back in studio and I'm excited to see where I'm at with my progress. And literally, like you said, it was like they never skipped a beat. It's just, they came in, pressed the weights, went longer, and now their weights are already increasing. So it's been really cool to be a part of that too.
So you've seen a lot of successful results personally with your mom, with clients in studio, clients virtually. Do you have any favorite stories or success stories of the people that you worked with over the years, and just kind of how you've seen people improve their lives too?
Yeah, absolutely. One that comes to mind is one of the clients in my studio. She came in for her learning session and she was like, these are my goals and I will achieve them. And so we've been working together for a little over a year now, and she's lost 50 pounds. She's incredibly strong. So I've got to share the story about her. So there's something that we do, and a lot of our clients should be familiar with this by now, is that towards the end of your package, we like to show you kind of where you started, your third workout weight, and then where you're at right now. And so for this particular client, I was showing her third workout weight, and it was 200 pounds on the leg press. And so I put that on there, and she's at just shy of 400 right now that she's pressing out. And so she gets on the leg press, and I'm like, I'm just going to try something with you. I'm going to have you do 1 repetition for me. And she pressed it out, and it flew out there. And she was like, oh my goodness. Like, oh, that was scary. And I'm like, oh, let's come back. Let's bring it down. And she was like, what was that? Like, why was that so light? And I was like, well, that was your third workout weight. That was 200 pounds. And then she does this. She's like, well, I'm almost at 400. So I bet I could press this weight with 1 leg. And before I could even say, she took 1 leg off the plate and just pressed 200 pounds with her right leg. Just one leg. I mean, it's incredible. It was so fun. It was incredible. She was blown away. And then she did it with her left leg. So I don't know. That's one of those stories that comes to mind where it's like, wow, like not only losing the weight that she wanted, but finding that strength along the way, and continuing to get stronger. But that's one story that comes to mind.
I love that, because sometimes it's hard to recognize those changes because they are gradual and they're over time. It's like looking at yourself in the mirror every day. You don't necessarily see like either yourself losing the weight or like the wrinkles starting to show up on your face. You just like see a picture one day and you're like, man, that's significantly different. And so having that very physical experience of feeling your strength then and now, it is like really, really impactful. I know I've personally done that with myself and clients, and it's really cool. So if any of you listening have not done that yet, whether you work out on your own or you work out with a trainer, try it. It's really, really cool.
Very impactful. Absolutely.
Yeah. Any other stories that you want to share?
Well, there's one definitely recently. I've been training a client who has, he's been in a walker. He has Parkinson's, and he fell last year and has been in a walker ever since, just trying to recover from it. And so standing up on his own from being just in a sitting position, he just has not been able to do that for over a year. And so when he came in, he's like, this is my goal. I want to get to where I can have my independence back, which is a super powerful thing. And I can resonate with, so for me, that was personally, I was like, oh, let's do it. Let's get it. And so he worked really hard. We got him on leg press. We got him on all the machines, and he was just, making strength and getting stronger. And so in each session, we would practice standing up off of the bench that we have in the studio. And he could gradually start to get up a little higher, and then he would sit back down and get up a little higher and then sit back down. But just before everything shut down, he got to the point where he could stand up by himself without touching anything. And it was so rewarding to see his face when he was able to stand up on his own. And his wife was there, and she was like blown out of her chair. I mean, it was just so cool to be a part of. And then he continued his training through virtual training. And so every session that we had, we would just practice standing up and down, up and down, up and down. And he was able to continue doing that through this interim time. And it's just so cool to be a part of that. And he's continuing doing virtual training right now until he's ready to come back in the studio. But that's another thing where it reminds me why I love my job. Why I do what I do is to help people get closer to their goals. And so that's just another story that has just been incredible to see, progress over time.
Yeah. And it's so much more than just a fitness goal. It is,
Mm-hmm.
You're helping to improve the overall quality of somebody's life, and probably help them maintain that like healthy living for even longer.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool.
Yeah.
And we are so, so, so lucky to have you. So thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely. What I'd like to say is just no matter who you are or, where you're at in life, to just really take the time to invest in yourself, and find the time to invest in your health, whether it be, strength training, whether it be something else, but just really find that time to invest in yourself, because life is short. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know, anything in our future. So take the time to invest in the quality of your life. And so for me, and I really do genuinely believe for everyone, one of the best ways we can do that is super slow motion strength training, because you get your time back, something that you really can't buy. And so with super slow motion strength training, you get that back. And then you also get the results of getting stronger and improving your health all at the same time. So it's just been an incredible thing to be a part of this company as well. I don't think I've ever worked for a company that I feel truly cares about me as a person, and cares about me as an employee. So that's why with the virtual training, I'm like, I want to stay with this company for as long as I can. And so the virtual training also allows me the chance to do that after my husband is finished with school.